So without my next guest support, Calling All Veterans Day simply would not have been possible. Welcome the Director of the Rhode Island Office of Veterans Services, Director Kasim Yarn.
Hey, Deb, how are you today?
Good. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for putting we've been coordinating this for like a year and a half now.
It feels like it, yeah.
So, finally come to fruition. A little virus didn't stop us, and it provided us other opportunities to partner together, to strengthen those bonds, and most importantly, support our veterans and military families.
Yes. And so, Director, what things are your office responsible for? What would someone go to your office for information for? What can you help people with?
Well, simply put, any and everything. Our office is here for veterans and military families. When you first walk into our office, you see a sign that says "Welcome Home," and that means so much. So, at any place in Rhode Island, if you have a veteran and military family that has a concern or question, look no further. My office is here to support you in all your endeavors.
Are there specific areas that your office is responsible for?
So all things veteran affairs related. We partner directly with our federal VA partners, which you had went on earlier. And again, they've been tremendous partners. We can't ask for better partners in this state, collaborating together in terms of our Providence VA Medical Center and our Benefits Regional Office. Those leadership from both of those organizations are phenomenal, great partners to work with. We've had recently change in leadership at the Providence VA Medical Center, which is phenomenal leader. E.J. McQuaid from our benefits office, who just got sworn in as a bigger responsibility for the VA at large. But here in Rhode Island, taking care of our veterans and military families are our number one priority.
That's awesome. So as we're aging, we really need to plan ahead on what we're going to need. Does your office help people, say, with the Bristol Veterans Home, or is that just through your doctor? How does that work?
So it is through it's through my office as an entry point. So no wrong door approach. For our veterans home, you can work directly with them. We've also worked with families as well to help guide them through the process in terms of what their requirements are. And then we do a warm handoff to our leadership at our veterans home to help guide them through that process. Because COVID-19 are in the mix of that response efforts, we have ceased admissions. Again, our policy aligns with the Rhode Island Department of Health across all of Rhode Island.
Yeah, this virus has been a bugger for everybody everywhere. And, I really appreciate you taking care of the veterans over at the home. So if someone were to pass, what is the eligibility criteria for them to be buried at the Veterans Cemetery down in Exeter?
So right now, the current requirement is that you have to be a Rhode Island resident for 2 years. You have to serve on an minimum active duty time, 90 days, war in that regard to as well. And so our website, vets.ri.gov, click the tab and they give you all the requirements too. And also we ask in terms of planning, end of life planning, we ask that to pre-register, pre-qualify. That makes life easier. As you know, it's difficult during bereavement period to try to focus on every little nitty detail. And it's so hard for families. So we ask if you can, try to prearrange what your wishes are. That's going to make your life easier for your family, surviving family members. Also, too, help us assist your family with navigating those waters during that bereavement period.
Yeah, I found in speaking with many veterans, some of the things that civilians don't often think about, like your healthcare powers of attorney and financial powers of attorney. Many times the veterans have already had that conversation because they're in situations where those things might become extremely important extremely quickly. So I think that's really good. So if they wanted to do pre-arrangements, would they go through your office, or would the funeral directors help them with that, the pre-arrangement things, how is that done?
So a couple of options. One, you can go directly to our administrative leadership, Jim Bessel, retired Air Force Colonel. The phone number is 401-268-3088. Call him, talk to him directly. Or you can have your funeral director. So obviously beforehand, it would be the family member communicating with our leadership there at the cemetery. If it's, once the family member has passed, unfortunately, then we recommend that the funeral directors work directly with our leadership. And kudos to the Rhode Island Funeral Directors Association. They've been tremendous partners through this entire ordeal, and working together has been tremendous.
Mhm. Now, I think your office is also responsible for assisting veterans in other ways, for housing, shelter, food, job development. Tell me about those programs.
So all of the above. Thank you so much for bringing it up. So we have we're tracking 13 categories, anywhere from employment piece to, of course, housing, what have you,
Mhm.
the Veterans Home and Cemetery, all mortuary affairs, all those umbrella underneath our preview. And so what we do, we have now what we call Rhode Island Serves, riserves.org. And so this is a way we can connect veterans and military families with services. We have over 55 partners that we're in our network. Now we're in the process of expanding across all of Rhode Island. So that way, again, back to the no wrong door approach, via the Office of Healthy Aging, dealing with your team or another agency to work together to connect those veterans, military families to the services that they have. And because we launched that almost 3 years ago now, and to our credit, because we've had that in place, it has made the responding during the COVID-19 virus, seem seamless because we're still connecting our veterans military families with those service providers. There's more distance now, but again, we're still making those referrals in a timely manner to connect folks with services.
Great. So Denise Lowell had a question. How can we as members of the community help the individuals who are in the Bristol Veterans Home? Do you take donations? Do you need masks? Are there any needs out there, even for the individuals that you're helping through RI Serves? I know many of our Rhode Islanders are so extremely generous. We're a great community, we're a great state, and we do support our veterans. What can we do to help?
So there's several ways. One, if you go visit our website, vets.ri.gov, in the top right portion of the website, it lists volunteer and job opportunities. So you click on it. We have 7 ways that a concerned citizen wants to help out with veterans, military families to utilize those volunteer efforts. Again, we have over 7 in that regard. Regarding providing essentials to our resident at the Veterans Home, we have ceased that practice right now because of COVID-19. But the list that we need there normally is posted also on that section as well, on the volunteer opportunities also. But we ask that you hold off right now. Once we get a better handle on this virus, then we can start resuming donations at the Veterans Home in that capacity too.
Yeah, and I've spoken with you about this before. I don't come from a military family, but for me, I feel as though when a man or woman signs on the dotted line to possibly give their life for me to have freedom and ease of life, it's my responsibility. It's all of our responsibilities to make sure that our veterans and our military members get what they need to be able to live with ease and freedom in
Absolutely,
their life.
absolutely. And this is why partnerships network is so important in our collaborative network, working with together, is because we have so many great organizations out there doing so phenomenal work for our veterans and military families. Let's work together to connect them with those services. And especially in a COVID-19 world, because we all have hardships and family members that have struggled through this process, especially when we're talking about the mental health aspect of these things. And so these type of venues in terms of Zoom calls, Facebook, what have you, all of these StreamYard, all these tools that we have at our disposal to do a better job at connecting with others to address the mental health aspect of this as we continue to combat COVID-19.
Yeah, this virus has just taken a toll physically, emotionally, everything. I know that you have to go. I know your time with me was very limited. Just going to check to see if there's any quick questions that are coming in. Let's see. So do you help spouses of veterans if they're coming in and speak to you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And veterans and military families, anytime you hear me say veteran, I say and military families. You know, General Callahan talks about how being a military service member, you take that oath, you volunteer. Well, family members are kind of what voluntold, if you in that regard too as well. So our services, as a matter of fact, regarding our aging population, majority of our respondents clients are the family members reaching out to us. Hey, mom and dad, they're transitioning. How can we assist? What can we do? Blah, blah, blah. And that's where we are to support them as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I know that you have to run,
Thank you
unless I
so
can keep
much.
you for a couple more minutes.
Absolutely. We're going a little bit. This is great. This is good stuff. No, but you and I have been talking about this to this
Forever.
today for literally almost 2 years.
It
And
feels
finally
like,
come
yeah.
to fruition. This is great. Look
Yes.
at all the response you got to. So this is worth the work. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for partnering.
And I fully recognize this wouldn't have been possible without the support of you and your office. This has been a lot of planning and a lot of last minute changes and switching to virtual events. And you know what? I'm glad it kind of went this way, because now we have the ability to reach people across the country, and not necessarily just people who are able to go to the Ryan Center on that day at that time. You know, this
Right.
is all being recorded so people can play it, share it later. So
Exactly.
that works out great.
Now we've upped the ante. So now we got to plan a bigger event along these lines
I'm in.
next go around. So look forward
Oh,
to the opportunity.
oh, you know we're going big.
That's it. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you
Bye.
very much for joining us.